Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, July the 21st, 2021. Today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 61, 2 Samuel 9, 1 through 13, Luke 15, 1 through 7, Psalm 100, and 2 Samuel 5, 1 through 12, ending again with Luke. So there's the two different sets of readings you could do, the semi-continuous and the complementary. I'm going to look at 2 Samuel 9, 1 through 13, and talk about what happens when your grandfather was king. Which, it's something that we can all relate with and to. But so, when your grandfather was a king and your father could have been the next king, things get complicated, especially when there's a new king in the land. And so, because ancient dynasties, ancient kings weren't really known for their benevolence toward the households of the kings that they had just replaced, whether it be through warfare or just, as David's story was, being anointed new king while the other king was awkwardly still in office. So, it was a common practice back then that the old king, the old king's lineage, the old king's heirs would basically be wiped out in order to prevent any further challenges or any future challenges, right? You don't want some supposed heir popping up later, and challenging you and your throne that you've just set up. And so that's just the way it worked in the ancient world, and probably would still work if we kind of didn't have kind of modern rules and things like that in place. But so here we have Mephibosheth. Try to say that several times really fast. Just, chilling at home, minding his own business. He was the son of Jonathan, who was Saul's son, so he is the grandson of Jonathan, so he is a legit heir to the throne. But, he hasn't been noticed. Nobody's really taken much consideration of him, not really paid much attention to him. So, and he really doesn't pose any threat. I mean, he's lame, both feet were broken. There's a whole story about that when he was young, so he couldn't really walk. It's not like he was in real contention for the throne, but he did have a child, right? So that could cause problems. But so far, so good. Nobody had really paid attention to him. No one seems to have remembered him. And then he gets the call, right? So you're Mephibosheth, and you're just kind of sitting at home chilling, and you think things are kind of quieted down. You think you're going to be okay. And then somebody knocks on your door, summoning you to the king's presence. And so what must have been going through his head at this time? He's summoned to the presence of his grandfather's old enemy. That's basically probably what he was thinking. And he's probably thinking, this is it. This is the end. This is the end of me, of my son, of my grandfather's whole house. The house of Saul ends now with me and my death at the hands of this new king. That, I would think, has to be a big part of what's going through his head. But he gets there, and what he hears is, "Come to my table." Because what he didn't know were David's intentions. That this old enemy, this person he assumed was his enemy, this person he was sure saw him as an enemy, was planning to do good to him and not evil. Was planning to give him a seat at his table, to restore his house and lands to him, to show him kindness. And that's just not what enemies do. You don't invite an enemy to your table. That's kind of the whole point. So, come to the table. That's the invitation. And it's not just an accident that the gospel lesson for today that we had from Luke is about Jesus sharing his table, or sharing a table, with people who were presumed to be enemies of God. But who God didn't presume to be his enemies. That they were invited to the table, that they were lost sheep restored to the fold. That's just not something an enemy does. Anyway, that's the DBR for today. Get out, enjoy the day. We'll be back tomorrow with another DBR. See you later. Boop.